and welcome back to Angel Wars Lore. I'm your host, Reverend Jake Zabel. And today we are doing our very first class analysis video, looking at the class of powers. But before we get started, I want to use this episode to introduce my very first sponsor, which is going to be basically myself, and it's going to be the Order of Knight George Publishing House. Particularly, our sponsor is going to be my book, Choirs of Angels. I've published a number of books using the self-publishing company Lulu, so you can buy my books there, but I also have a website, the Order of Knight George Publishing House, see the link in the description, where you can browse through all the books that I have published. Some of my own and some of other people's that I've published on their behalf, which you can get at the Order of Knight George Publishing House. But particularly, I'd like to highlight one book I wrote, Choirs of Angels, a brief study of the kinds of angels. So in traditional angelology, there are 9 choirs of angels. However, that is what you teach if you belong to the Roman Catholic Church, where it is a set doctrine. I myself am a Lutheran, and we do not have a definitive set doctrine of how many choirs of angels there are, though we do know from scripture that there are different types or different choirs of angels. I took it upon myself to research scripture to discuss the different types of angels mentioned in scripture, and if you would like to learn a bit about that, you can check out my book on the topic. And particularly in this episode though, we are going to be looking at the choir known as powers, which in traditional angelology is the warrior class of angel. Now, the canonicity of the power class is another interesting feature, because nowhere in the actual show proper are the angels ever referred to as power class angels. The classification as a power class angel comes from the character bios which used to exist on the old website, which is now defunct. Now, the website is no longer up, but if you get the Messengers DVD, these character bios were included in the DVD extras on the Messengers DVD. And in those character bios, we learn that the Guardian Force angels are power class angels.
But if I could go on just one alpha level mission, just one, they'd have to give me a full promotion into the powers hierarchy.
Now, the difference between a class and a rank is something interesting in the show. A rank is more like the level of angel you are at. And that can be like an Anawim, a Guardian, or an Archangel. But a rank can also refer to the different career that an angel has. Such as Eli identifies himself as a Guardian, even though he is an Anawim Guardian.
I'm a Guardian.
And Cameron is identified as a Messenger Anawim.
Messengers pinned down behind enemy lines.
The classification of class seems to refer more to a person's like race or species within the angels. And throughout the show and the extended media, there are only ever 4 classes ever mentioned. So within the show, we learn that there are cherubim.
Well, technically I'm an imp, a class 9 spiritual entity, which makes me practically a cherub.
You're no cherub.
And there are messengers.
Messengers do not fight, Cameron. But we are not without our defenses.
But also on the website, the Guardian Angels and the Demon Morg are referred to as a power class, whereas the Demon Cubus is referred to as a Watcher class. So the classes are more like their species, and their ranks are more like their careers and the level of career that they have. And so the power class angels are the species of angels that are like the warrior angels. And throughout the show, we are introduced to a number of different power class angels. There are, of course, our main characters, Kira and Eli. The Archangel Michael, who even though he has the rank of Archangel, according to his character bio on the website, his class is a power class. The other members of the Guardian Force, Ariana, Swift, and Paladin, are also power class angels. Also, Morgan, now the demon Morg, is classified as a power class angel/demon. There are also 4 nameless angels in the episode Some Sound Advice. 3 of them are aboard the Seven, and 1 of them is aboard the Oars with Remuel. We can assume that these 4 are also power class angels, although the one on the Oars may be a messenger class instead. Now, besides Morg, it is unknown whether any other demons are power class. We could assume that the Obsidians, the Panic, and the Squealer demons, since they are all combat warrior demons, that they may be power class demons, though this would be only speculation. Also, in the episode Be Careful What You Wish For, there is a demon known as False Eli, who looks like Eli, and so he could be a power class demon, though he could just be a different demon disguised to look like Eli, since we do learn in the very first episode about Face that Cubus, who is classified as a Watcher class demon, is able to disguise herself. So False Eli could just be some other type of demon who has disguised himself to look like Eli. And that then is roughly all the information I have on the power class. I've been your host, Reverend Jake Zabel. Goodbye and God bless.